Welcome to The Vault, where we reveal some of the best-kept secrets for success. Our show is designed to introduce you to industry professionals in TV, movies, music, sports, and business. Now, our goal is to learn from a wealth of information and use it to realize your dreams. Our next guest came from humble beginnings and rose to Hollywood success. The climax of her career was writing and directing The Dream Still Lives, where she had the pleasure of working with former President Barack Obama, as well as Paul McCartney and many other celebrities. Introducing Candice Vernon. All right, welcome to The Vault, where all the best-kept secrets live. Today we are here with Candice Vernon, who is a commercial director. And without further ado, I'd love to just welcome you to The Vault. Thank you so much for being here. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you for having me.
And we're going to just jump right into it. I want to ask you, how did you go from being in the ad agencies all the way to being where you are now as a commercial director?
It all started in Jamaica when I was a child. Born in Jamaica, I moved to America. I had a very thick accent. I actually learned to speak American English by watching TV. And I knew that I wanted to work in film somehow. I went to Temple University, graduated with a film degree. I moved to New York City. I found this thing called advertising that I didn't really know anything about. But I knew that I could put together my own projects. I had been doing that for a year of being out of college. Found an agency, went into an interview, and talked my way into becoming an assistant producer. But even throughout that career, I realized that I wasn't following my true dream of directing and telling, my own stories. So one day I just quit my job and I moved to LA. I first did a short film. I did a few spec stuff, and I just started going around to production companies hey, I'm directing now, I'm doing this, check out my work, let me know if we can work together. And I got calls from 2 different production companies.
Who are these companies that called you?
I met with Caviar, I met with Fish Face, and I met with Bullit.
For those of you who do not know who Bullit is, can you tell us who runs Bullit?
Bullit is a commercial production company that's owned by the Russo Brothers and Justin Lin, and it's a bunch of directors that are filmmakers.
And Russo Brothers did Infinity War, so it's
they did Captain America, Infinity War.
So you ended up getting a job with them, and tell us about this project that became the best one ever. I met with the Bullit team maybe 4 or 5 months before I got the call to do the project. And the project was The Dream Still Lives, which was an idea that Stevie Wonder had, that he wanted to do a video to celebrate Martin Luther King and the 50th anniversary of his passing, which was, coming up. So between CAA, Stevie Wonder, Bullit, and myself, we just figured out exactly what was going to be done. I wrote a skeleton script, a script of, responses that we were going to interview 50 celebrities. It ended up being more than 50 because everyone wanted to be a part of it. But we had 50 celebrities. I wrote out all these different responses because it had to be timed. Originally it was supposed to be maybe 3 minutes long max. But it turned out to be how long?
It turned out to be a little bit over 5 minutes.
With how many celebrities?
I think there's 70. At the end of the day, we ended up not even using everyone. Mm-hmm. And my director's cut is 2 minutes.
So tell me some of the celebrities that are in this video, the biggest and best. They're huge.
The biggest and best. First of all, can I say I can't stop pinching myself. Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Meryl Streep, Paul McCartney, Bruce Springsteen, Common, Lupita Nyong'o.
The All-Stars.
Yeah.
Presidents of countries, presidents of studios. So tell me about the Obamas. What was that like, having them in your commercial?
So the Obamas, man, it was a dream come true, that they were even wanted to do it. We went back and forth so much between my producer and their team to we're okay, we'll come down to DC, we'll do this, we'll do that, but they were on vacation. It just wasn't working out for our schedule. So ultimately, there was a deck that I had written and prepared for anyone that just couldn't actually be available for us to film them. And then they would have my cell phone number, and and just contact to me. So if they had any questions, we sent like framing, the type of vibe and things like that. So unfortunately, I didn't get to
So you directed them remotely.
Barack in person, but one day Barack and Michelle.
So you can just say, hey, you were in my commercial, so we still need to meet up, all right? I mean, I did direct you remotely. But
exactly, so that's what that experience was like.
But you had an amazing in-person interaction with a couple people. Why don't you elaborate on that?
In New York, one of our shoot days in New York, we were filming Paul McCartney at his office in Manhattan, and it happened to be my birthday. And Paul was just, he was just so amazing. I mean, he felt like, almost like talking to my grandpa. You know, he really did. We talked about his upbringing. We talked about the state of the country. We talked about the president. We talked about a little bit of racism. We talked about music and so much. I mean, we talked for probably at least a half an hour before we filmed, and then like maybe half an hour after. And then, you know, I was like, oh, well, let's take a picture. And so I sat on his lap like he was my grandpa, and I felt so comfortable. And he sits there and he starts singing happy birthday to me.
When would you ever in your life think that you could have Paul McCartney sing happy birthday to you? Well, Candice Vernon has done that, all right? Now, you worked on this amazing I Have a Dream 50-year anniversary commercial.
Yeah.
And tell me one more story with Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep, my favorite actress of all time. One thing that she reminded me, she came in, we talked, I briefed her on what we were going to be doing, gave her some responses that she could reiterate, and she looked around. It was like this male heavy crew and me, you know, and she goes, well, are there any other female crew? Like, where are the other women? I'm like, yeah, well, we have someone in makeup. And she goes, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, and I started to like go like, wow, like I didn't even like really look at my crew list. I was just so happy and excited to have the opportunity to do this that I didn't really, you know, make sure that I had enough women. There were other aspects, like in post, like I definitely chose my editor who had just won an Oscar for a short documentary, Asian woman, Ting Poo. Ting's amazing, and so I was so happy to work with her. So I was, you know, I knew that post was so important to me that I didn't think about the production so much. I'm like, we're gonna get done, and that's all that matters. But now, like, since that point, I'm always looking at genders and, you know, races when it comes to just having a crew that reflects the world that, you know, that I live in and that I talk about.
So, but when you talked to her, I mean, was it just that moment knowing that you're directing your favorite actress? Was it? Tell me how that moment was.
I mean, that moment was amazing. Like, to have her take my notes and to listen to me and make the adjustments. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? This is Meryl Streep. Like, she can do whatever she wants. She doesn't have to listen to me at all. But she did. And then we talked a lot after, and she asked me, like, you know, am I doing narrative work? Like, you know, what am I doing? And I told her, like, the projects that I'm developing. And I told her, you know, I want to work with her on a narrative film one day. And she's like, well, you will.
Hey, that's pretty awesome.
Meryl, don't forget.
We're holding you to that, Meryl. I see she's actually on right now watching on our Instagram live chat. Welcome back to the vault. We got Candice here talking about her adventures as a commercial director. Once again, thank you again for being on the show. And let's talk now about your Instagram fans. All right? So I see some of our fans know, because we have announced it prior, that you have your own production company.
Yes.
And they want to know what that is all about, like being a woman and having your own production company.
So She Works, with the E, W-E-R-K-S, because I'm fancy, it's something that I created moving out here that I could produce my films under that banner. And also I still work with certain brands and agencies, and if there is a smaller budget that, say, a big production company can't achieve, then I can come in and produce it on a smaller scale.
So the next question I have is, how do you use your knowledge, because you have agency experience, to your current experience as a director and producer?
Just knowing, as a former producer, especially in agencies, just knowing what it takes to work with not only just the brand, but with the creatives within the agency, like on the outside now as a director. I know the inner workings of that all, so I know like kind of like what are no-nos for clients. You know, I know like how to build a treatment that the agency is gonna, you know, be attracted to. I just know like the inner workings, so it makes it easier for me to have a conversation with the agency or the creatives at the agency.
For our audience, could you break that down one more level as far as like, just kind of talk them through if they have no idea how to do that? Like if you're a director trying to get an agency to pay attention to you and maybe hire you to direct and or produce a commercial for a brand.
From the director's standpoint, I mean, the agencies, they have your reels. Normally there's a board, a storyboard, or a script that is out there for a certain brand. Let's just say it's Quaker Oats or something like that. And they're going to look for the agency producer. They're going to look for directors with reels that have CPG experience, which is consumer packaged goods experience on their reel. Because agencies, if you don't have it, they're not going to hire you. It's like really hard for them to take a leap of faith to hire someone that they don't see they have that type of experience on their reel. So it starts from there. The agencies then like choose 3 different directors or production companies to bid. We all submit our treatments at that point, and then they pick based on the reel and the treatment who they want to work with, but everybody's still putting in their numbers. And the inside trick is that even if, like, say we're up against each other and they really like, you know, like my treatment and my reel better, but you're coming in at even like 15% lower, we'll figure out how to make my bid like, you know, $1 lower or just like the same price as yours so that I can win the job.
But how do you know that? How do you know what the other competition's price is?
As a director, I won't know, but the agency producer will, and the agency producer will call the director or the production company and say, hey, we really want to work with you, but your bid is too high.
Right.
You need to figure out how to come in like 20 grand under.
Okay.
You know, sometimes it's even more than that. It could be like 50 grand. And sometimes you just have to like be close enough, even if it's a little bit over, to say, hey, you're getting value here. This is who we want to work with. And they're now like apples to apples or similar to that, you know, other bid that's attractive.
Right, right.
So that's kind of how it works both ways, from the director side of the production company and from the producer side of the agency.
So then the bid has been won. Talk me through that phase.
So once the bid has been won, you know, my production company gets the call like, hey, we're awarding to Candice. Yay!
Woo,
are the shoot
party.
dates still the same? You know? And then we refine the schedule. The production company line producer will then send a production schedule to the agency, and then we're just prepping, you know. Then we have to immediately start location scouting. We have to start casting right away. Like, those are the 2 most important components to your spot. And after that, we're just, you know, business as usual. We're going through our casting. I go on location scouts. I see locations. You know, sometimes we're storyboarding to have like the director's shooting board, which is a little bit different from the agency storyboard because it has all the shots in there, all the shots that we want to achieve. After several meetings, you know, meetings of showing like actors to the clients, the brand team, locations. We have like so many production meetings, and then we finally get to the actual production. And
okay, so then you shoot, and then give me some secret sauce on the post. Is there anything that you could give insights to on both agency and director side of how that works?
Oftentimes in the US, the director's not involved in post when it comes to advertising agencies. There's certain projects that we're involved in post. Like, you know, I was involved in The Dream Still Lives. I picked my editor. Like, you know, I was there with my colorist, grading everything. I even graded my stills and then gave it to the colors. Like, this is what I want it to look like, you know. So there's that aspect. I was thankful to be able to do that. But sometimes it's just the agency producer and the creatives that are doing the cuts.
Cool. Well, that's great. I love that you mapped out the whole beginning to end, because I think that that is a very valuable step that most people don't know about who are just starting. Which leads me to my next question, as far as like, you know, the vault, as you know, is all about taking the best kept secrets, bringing them out of the vault so that other people can have access to them. What would you tell your 20-year-old self? I mean, I know you're only 21, but I mean, what would you tell your 20-year-old self, like secrets that you have learned ever since that last day at college, let's say, around that era?
I would say, and it may sound cliche, to just do it. Like, just everything that you want to do, just go out there and do it.
But how?
It's you just do, like, you know, if your phone, you have, my phone shouldn't be over here, but it is. Your phone, you could shoot on your phone, you know, you can do anything. There's so much available to filmmakers, to anyone that wants to work in advertising, entertainment, whatever, you know, capacity it is. Like, I remember when I shot my first short film, I shot it on like a Panasonic DVX100. I had this long, like, adapter so I can have prime lenses, you know, this big, like, pack to shoot on, to shoot to a card. And it was just, everything was just, it was so much different. Like, nowadays, like, literally, like, I was in Jamaica shooting a documentary for the Bob Marley Foundation, and I supplemented some of my footage because when I went to the Bob Marley Museum, I couldn't have my big camera, so I shot on my iPhone. And you can't really tell so much the difference, you know, because it's a digital thing. So there's so much available to you. You can just go out and do it, and you're gonna fail, and it's fine to fail because that's how you learn. You know, so I say go out and do everything so that you can fail at it and then do it better.
Yep. Tell us about your, you just reminded me, I know that you and I have talked about this, but charities, you know, the charity component and how that's important to you.
Charities are really important to me. Just giving back in general. Ever since I was a kid, I would even like volunteer, like, you know, from when I was in high school to go back to my like elementary school to, like, you know, teach summer camps and things like that. And as a producer in New York, I always gave back to like underprivileged kids, and I taught programs, taught kids advertising and just like directing and producing. And now in LA, there's a lot that I'm starting to do now here too. And I volunteered my time with the Lonely Whale and the Bob Marley Foundation because I'm from Jamaica. We're bringing the Strawless Ocean campaign to Jamaica. So I went with some of the Marleys. And for me, going back home to Jamaica and, like, you know, making my people aware of the damage that single-use plastic does to society and to the ocean and to our entire earth and life was really important to me. So just anything that I can do to educate or make someone's life a little better, then I want to do it.
Yeah, which is a great cause, you know, just trying to make the world a better place.
Yeah.
Well, one last question is, where can people find you online?
Online, you can find me at the CandiceVernonShow.com. Candice is spelled Candice, so the CandiceVernonShow.com. Also on Instagram. People kill me because I have underscores, but it's SEE_ES_Vernon.
Okay, that's pretty difficult, but we'll have that all on the bottom for you guys to remember. And thank you guys very much for being our audience for this wonderful guest, Candice Vernon.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming to the Vault, and we look forward to working with you soon on some great projects.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
The best kept secret. Blah. Blah. This is why I do this.
Shake it out.
I got it.
Okay.
Blah, blah, blah.
Best kept secret.
The best kept secrets are kept in the vault.